Okay, well here it is in the driveway, packed up on the trailer. This holds the rudder, tilts up, pull it back with this rope right here, goes in that self-releasing cleat. If you ground the rudder, it pops up. If you're not going to have a problem, there's a lock right here. You can lock it in so it never moves. Okay, there's the crutch that holds the mast up. I just put that on last year, and that works really slick with that roller on top. Makes it easy to maneuver the mast back and forth. So, and then there's the motor mount. Motor's not on it. It just tilts. It just swings down and swings up. Little 2.5 horse 2-stroke. It'll push it about 3 knots, which is enough to get away from the dock. And I can see the trampolines just are so connected to the main hull, and they just roll out, and then you have a lot of ropes to string through these eyelets. 2 bolts in the end of one of these once you slide the arms on. Okay, and I apologize for it being so dirty, but hasn't been sailed since last August, when our water level just got too darn low. And the little anchor well up here, I just said the anchor doesn't fit in it, but the ropes do. And I just now realize I don't have my registration numbers on there because I did some painting on the front of it last winter. So there's another view of it. Okay, I'll climb up in there. There's my gin pole still connected. That's where the gin pole connects. It goes out there, and I use the trailer winch to raise the mast. I have 2 little small A-frames that attach here, and through these bolt holes they kind of come up like this and then go to the mast, and that's what steadies the mast as it goes up. That was just so I could raise the mast solo, and it works really well. I used to always have to have a lot of help putting this thing together until I started making things easier, and now I can do it solo. And I think the last time I did it, it was less than 2 hours for me to do it by myself. Of course, I've done it I don't know how many times. Not too many, because mostly I keep it in a slip out at the lake when there's water in the lake. And I'm climbing up into the cockpit. Here's the cockpit, and pardon the mess, because it is a mess with the leaves and stuff. Okay. Now I'm standing in the cockpit. Alright. I don't use a traveler. I found out it was more hassle than it was worth. But what I have is this, I can't remember what they call these things, but I got 3 of them. And when I was racing it, if I was going upwind, I would put it hook the main sheet on the windward side. I could get a little better angle on the sails that way. Okay, let's go ahead and take these off. I hope this video turns out okay. Now the inside of it's full of the stuff, like a sail bag right there. The sink right there, which is supposed to be stainless, but apparently it was cheesy stainless because it gets rust specks on it all the time. And then here's rudder. I got an extra long tiller extension so I can sit out at the end of the ama and steer. The rudder and the 2 boards are asymmetrical boards, and you can see nice smooth floor, no daggerboard trunk in your way. Makes it feel a whole lot roomier in here without the trunk. Let me climb down in here. And then again, pardon the mess, it needs a good cleaning. Maybe I'll do that today. Here's these stainless pieces here are the water stays, which they just bolt on after you get the amas on. You got a little compartment here. The electrical stuff's right here. There's not a hole. I was able to. I lowered the floor. The bilge is very small now. It's only what, 6 inches maybe. and that gave me more room to get under the cockpit. So when I sleep in it, a lot of times I just sleep right here on the floor because there's a lot of room to stretch out and stuff. Other than that, there's this board here, which I attached my storage bins underneath, just because when I go down to Texas, it seems like I have to haul so much stuff to live on there for a week and a half. And there's two more of these boards that come out here and make this basically a queen size bed sideways across. And these are the cushions for the cockpit, which can also double as cushions to sleep on. And then there's the mast step, fire extinguisher, and then here's the forepeak. Again, pardon the mess. Been throwing things in here. There's I have a spare rudder because it seems like in Texas you're always grounding, and so I don't go anywhere without a spare rudder. So I have two rudders for it. I got a long one and a short one for skinny water. And as you can see, there's a lot of storage space up in the front of this, and there's a hatch in the front to get down in. And a lot of times that's where I put the porta potties in the front, and then you just go down the front hatch and you can poop with your head sticking out the hatch, and you get a modicum of privacy that way. This little shelf here is where I kept my refrigerator or cooler. For a while I had a cooler, and then I ended up putting a 12-volt refrigerator right here, which was easily accessible. Just from the top, you could just reach in, open it, and get your stuff out, because otherwise it's seemed to be pretty much wasted space. Those storage areas on each side so stuff don't roll around. And then I got a little storage place back in here. This is where I used to keep my butane stove, underneath here. And I would just open it, take it out, put it on top, and then cook right there, or we'd cook in the cockpit if it's not too windy outside. These are the steps to get in and out. I put the steps on the side so it would not block this opening, and that works really, really well. You can even slide a cooler underneath there if you wanted to. Though I don't recommend putting much weight in the back of this boat because it's a tail dragger. If you get too much weight in the back, the battery goes back in there, which is not a battery in it because the battery went to shit on me. So it's going to need a battery to run the 12-volt stuff, which is not a whole lot. Lights, bilge pump, that's about it. These are let's see, okay, these are the boards to slide across there until they hook together to make it into the bed and the main cabin. I don't know what this piece of stuff here is, but it's there. And battery cables. I need to go back to the battery. So, and then there's a little bit of storage under the sink. And here's a little view from the inside. Got a little bag for throwing things in. So, and I really like not having the intrusion of the centerboard or daggerboard trunk in the cabin. And so the bottom of the boat I built it extra strong. The guy can run it over rocks and it won't. You shouldn't get a hole in it with that Kevlar on the bottom. A friend of mine works aircraft, and he brought home a bunch of Kevlar and gave it to me. So I thought, cool. All right, now I don't know what else I can show you. Oh, there's my new boat, F-24. Here's the top. You can see the rolled up trampoline. I'm thinking about, well, one of my next projects with this boat was, and fairly new winches too, which I bought off of a guy that was parting out a Catalina 25. But let's get up top here. Mast step, gin pole. There's the front hatch with the solar ventilator, which was nice because the first season I had it in the water, I was getting mold or mildew or something from condensation inside it, and I put that in there and I never had a problem since, so that was a good deal. And I don't know what else I can show you. Oh, that bow pulpit came off a Catalina 25. So another view around the top of the boat. Here's towards the back. Yeah, if you wanted to drive up to Wichita sometime, I'd take you out to the lake and we could put it all together and show you exactly how it's done and sail it. It's very, very nice. I have a lot of friends with trimarans. I got 2 friends with F-27s, Wind Riders. What is that other one? Another one. But every one of them that's ever sailed this boat is absolutely amazed at how well it sails. It sails just like gangbusters. That Lot Crowther really knew what he was designing when he designed this boat.